Welcome to Realm Painters, and welcome to the final part of this 3-part series. This has been almost a month-long project that had many ups, many downs, but mostly they've been ups. In this final part, I'll be showing you how to paint the glass, and then the little extra baby in the back. But before we get into that, if you did enjoy the series and you want to see more of it, leave a like and subscribe, and let us know down in the comments below what next big project we should do for you guys. But other than that, let's jump right into it. So the method I'm going to be trying on the stained glass section will be to use this bottle of latex to fill all of the holes in the glass sections. You can use any kind of latex, but I found with the ones with this metal rod helps a lot with control. The specific type is called masking fluid, and you can usually find it at a craft store near the watercolor section, but any latex that does not stain or stick works. Also, fair warning, make sure you don't overfill these glass sections unless you want to go and fix up the black trim all over later on. Don't ask me how I know. Don't do it. Anyways, make sure to fill the glass on both sides, since once this is dry, we'll be priming it in Chaos Black. You may think this takes a lot of time and effort, and I can agree with you on that, but I thought I should try out a different method to see if it's easier in the long run. Just please do not forget any glass pieces, or you'll end up with black glass sections, which would not be good. Also, don't ask me how. I know that. Please don't. Alright, so now that it's dried and now primed, let's get to picking out the latex. In theory, this should be quite satisfying, right? Right? Well, unfortunately, it's not quite easy to just pull the latex out, since the primer hardens it pretty well. So what you have to do is make the job faster is with any small sharp object. I used a sewing pin and just drag the pin around the edge of each glass section. It should break the latex away and roll it onto the pin. Don't get me wrong, it still took a second. However, it should leave you with a clean window and somewhat clean glass edge. Now that that's out of the way, let's paint the pillars first. With Lead Belcher, coat the entire piece, excluding the glass section in the middle. Then with Nuln Oil, wash all of the silver. I recommend setting it on its side while the Nuln Oil dries in the front and the back so it doesn't pool on the bottom. Then with Runefang Steel, edge highlight all of those edges. Then, to match the other pillars on my tank, I will paint the top little pokey bits with Runelord Brass. Next up, let's edge highlight the black middle section. With Fenrisian Grey, edge both the front and the back. If you need to fix up any mistakes, just use Abaddon Black for cleanup. Now onto the last section, which will be the glass. So today I'm trying to use some contrasts, which we'll be using Ball Red, Imperial Fist, Gryph-hound Orange, Sigvald Burgundy, Frostheart, and Aldari Emerald. With all of these colors, I decided to mix them up with some gloss varnish in order for the paint to become more viscous. You could also use PVA glue, however, I noticed that it wouldn't dry glossy, so any gloss varnish should do. So I use the box art as reference to know what colors are put down where, however, any color combo and position should work. While using varnish with the paint, know that it may take a little bit to dry, so make sure you set it on its side for the varnish paint mixture to stay in place. Once the varnish is dry, all that's left on the window is to clean up the areas on the black trim with Abaddon black around the glass. You only really need to do it on the front, but if you really want to do both sides, go ahead. The amount of cleaning up this trim really depends on how much latex you pulled onto the glass sections. If you filled it up to the rim, you may need more cleaning with Abaddon black to paint the sides of the trim. So make sure you remember to not overfill the glass with latex, but once you get all that cleaned up, your glass is all done. This is just a little treat for you guys who have watched the tutorial to the end, hoping you watched all 3 parts, but if you haven't, that's okay, I guess. Well, whatever reason why you're still here, let's get to painting the baby. First up, let's prime this little guy in Wraithbone. I recommend this since most of the model is skin and white wings. But then with Rakeland Flesh Shade, go ahead and wash over the whole body. Optionally, you can highlight some areas of the skin with Wraithbone like the shoulders, knuckles, booty, and feet. Next up, let's paint the wings. With any white, which I use Vallejo white, water the paint down a little bit and give it a good coat. It may take about 2 coats. Then with Apothecary White, give them a full wash. On hindsight, I could have washed it down with some water so it wasn't so opaque of Apothecary. But if you want to lighten the feathers back up, just use white to paint over the wings, making sure you keep the shading in the creases of the feathers. Now let's get the skull done. First up, let's give it a wash of Skeleton Horde as the base wash. After that's fully dry, go ahead with Agrics or Shade, watering it down slightly before giving the skull a nice wash. Make sure to go into the eye sockets and jaw divots. Once the skull is bone dry, we'll finish up by dry brushing with Ushabti Bone. Make sure you brush at downward motions. Before we get into the metallic sections, let's finish off the tan colors by using Ushabti Bone to base coat the parchment. Then with watered down Dark Oath Flesh, coat the parchment. Once dry, edge highlight the parchment with Ushabti Bone. You can optionally write script on the parchment, but I decided it wasn't really necessary. It totally wasn't because I was lazy. Now let's get into the metallics. First up with Hashut Copper, paint the crown and horn. Then with Rakeland Flesh Shade, wash down all the copper. Now with Liberator Gold, edge highlight the rim and trim on the instrument. You can also do a little edge highlight on the edges of the crown. Now the last color section will be silver. So with Lead Belcher, paint the spine and the chain. Then with Nuln Oil, wash all of the silver. Lastly, with Runefang Steel, highlight the top sections of the chain and the top of the spine. And your baby's done! Sweetness. And just like that, you've completed your Immolator, and you're just one step closer to finishing your sister's army, which I still have so much to do. The series was a lot of fun to do. To be frank though, there was a lot of things that I had to learn on the fly, but I think overall it turned out pretty good. But I hope you found this series not only useful, but also entertaining. We've got big plans, especially for October, so stay tuned for that. So now, I'm gonna take a really long nap, so I'll see you in the next realm.